podcast you've been looking for all along. Step into the world of urban exploration with guests from around the world. Welcome to No Tracers.
So, welcome to No Tracers. I hope you guys like the new intro. Welcome to the podcast. My name is Kay Anagonio, and this week on the podcast, I am speaking with a couple from the UK. They go by Abandoned and Disused. If you guys want to check their stuff out, I'll put their links in the description. But this week, we're going to be talking about exploring railways, underground places, and Randontika. And this is a really, really cool episode because I haven't really spoken about Randontika on this podcast very much, and I definitely want to jump more into that. But before we get into the podcast, I need to let you know that I have a book out called No Tracers, an Urban Explorer's Diary. And in that book, it's full of stories and photographs from my explorations across the United States, a few places internationally, Canada, Portugal. And if you pick up a copy of that from notracers.com/shop, I will include 2 signed photo prints for you. And secondly, I need to thank our partner, Liquid Death Water. If you've never heard of Liquid Death Water, well, hey, I will absolutely give you an ad in 3, 2, 1.
From the streams of the Austrian Alps comes a new kind of water. A water that is sure to raise you from your grave. If you're tired of buying cases of plastic water bottles that contain carcinogens and God knows what else, or if you're trying to lower your waste footprint, Liquid Death comes in beautifully rugged aluminum cans. Murder your thirst with a can of Liquid Death. Check the link in the description and use code JustTheLetterK at checkout for 10% off your order. Liquid Death. Murder your thirst.
So yeah, use code JustTheLetterK at checkout at liquiddeath.com to get a discount on your water. Thank you guys for supporting the podcast and supporting Liquid Death Water with all they're trying to do to help the environment. So without further ado, let's jump into this podcast with this awesome couple, Abandoned and Disused. They are based in the UK. And could you guys please introduce yourselves?
Cool. Yeah. So we're just like girlfriend, boyfriend explorers. In the UK, based in the UK, we explore like different things, like mostly historic buildings. It could be like industrial buildings, just old railway buildings and things like that. So it's just all sorts, really, all sorts, whatever takes our fancy,
whatever we can find.
Yeah, that's it. No, half the time.
So did exploring bring you guys together? Like, how did you guys meet? Was this something that you guys enjoyed doing before meeting, or was it something you guys kind of started doing together?
Yeah, we both sort of discovered, because I've been doing it for years myself, and Sophie's obviously always had that where she likes to walk and stuff like that and go out and venture, and we sort of we just sort of developed this like mutual interest, isn't it? Yeah, it's crazy, really.
And we just kept on like researching places, finding new places to go, and it just kind of spiraled from there. Really,
that's it. And because I do photography as well, it's sort of all molded into one as it would. So it's really good fun. We find it really good.
So what got you guys into exploring in the first place? What made you catch the bug?
Ooh, well, for me, it was, I don't know, it wasn't really like the edginess of going into like somewhere abandoned. It's more of the like history behind it and exploring it, something like a past time almost that is no longer, especially with like some of the railway tunnels we explore and stuff like that. Like you can imagine, there being hive of activity in these places, but not anymore. It looks so quiet and desolate and overgrown.
And what about you, Sophie?
Yeah, it's the same really. Like I enjoy like the history behind these places, and I do enjoy like looking at the pictures of before and then what it's like now and being like, wow, it's completely different. It's just, I just find it really amazing, really. And the history behind some of these places we go to is just, you can't even imagine it, really.
Yeah.
So for the railway stuff, is that like underneath the UK? Like, are you guys underground when you're exploring this kind of stuff?
Yeah, we can be.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally sometimes like we go to like parts like Wales and things like that where it's very hilly, and you usually find that be a lot of like underground tunnels and stuff like that. Like, and they're just hidden away. You wouldn't even, you could walk straight past them. You wouldn't really know much about it. But, if you look a bit deeper, then you can tell that there was once something there, and it's usually pretty cool to explore.
Yeah, and that's just like mines and stuff. You can go into them, and you feel like you're a world away, and
it feels like it does feel like a different world.
Really. Yeah.
Yeah, I recently went to Colorado here in the States, and we explored an abandoned military base, and it was all completely underground. And to go in during the day and then come out as the sun was setting and the weather was changing, it's like unlike anything I've ever experienced, just going underground.
Crazy.
And I don't typically explore underground because it kind of creeps me out, like mine shafts and that kind of thing. Like I've never explored a mine just because you hear all the stories like mines collapsing, people getting trapped, that kind of stuff. Yeah. So it kind of sketches me out, but I decided to go with my friend into this military base, and it was tunnel after tunnel after tunnel in complete darkness. And it's like, it's such a unique experience, and I wish more people could experience it,
it is different. Yeah, it's different experience to the norm for sure.
So tell me about your first exploration, whether the first exploration together or your first exploration individually.
So the first exploration I done, when was that? It must have been back in I think it was 2016. When I got my driving license, I could go around places, and I went to this. It was this one tunnel in a place called Monmouthshire, and it was called Ballingham Tunnel. And it was just literally it's basically 3/4 of a mile old railway tunnel, and from there it sort of developed into exploring mills and things like that, and factories, anything really.
I can't remember my first explore.
Can you? No.
I can't remember the first abandoned explore, but I think we did that together, didn't we?
Yeah.
But my first exploring in general, I've always been interested in castles and stuff. But yeah, that's the only thing I can. That was back in high school, so that was like 11, 12, something like that. But obviously, that was more not really exploring the abandoned places. But yeah.
So your first exploration together, what was that?
I can't remember now.
Oh, first exploration. That's a good question. Right, let's think. It would have been in Wales or something, surely.
Yeah.
Maybe Forest of Dean. When we went to.
I think it was Forest of Dean, wasn't it?
Yeah, when we went.
And we went to that tunnel that we found really hard to get to.
Oh yeah, Broadway Hill. Tunnel, which is again another railway tunnel. That was quite difficult to get to.
Yeah, you wouldn't know it was there unless you really had to find it.
Yeah, it took a lot of finding.
Yeah, that climbing.
Wow. That's the fun part, though. It's like find a way and.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, but I think that was the first
profit.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
And then when did photography come into play for you guys? When did you start documenting this stuff and uploading it to Instagram and online?
Well, I've literally always done photography all of my life. So photograph and these sort of things comes in hand. But literally, we sort of towards the end of last year we started to go out and obviously photograph these things, and then we thought together, wouldn't it be cool to start our own page and to show people what we see and what we find, during these explorations and these little adventures that we do, because we're always adventuring somewhere, and it sort of just developed from there, didn't it? Really?
Yeah, I think we started the page. We always remember the date because it was the New Year's Day.
Yeah, it was literally first.
So it was the 1st of January, so we always remember the date. But from there, it's just kind of gotten better and better.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah.
More content.
Yeah, and I love that you guys include some of the history in these things. I mean, Severn Bridge Tunnel in Gloucestershire, you talk about how it opened in 1879, closed in 1964. I love the history of these places, I love learning about that kind of stuff. And For example, yesterday I actually went to this place out here in Southern California called Murphy's Ranch. And basically, this guy back in the 40s thought Hitler was going to win the war. So he built this like secret hidden camp in the hills of Santa Monica. And obviously Hitler killed himself. So it became abandoned and it's still there. And there's like a hiking trail and you have to go down 511 stairs to get to this place. And then climb back up 511 stairs, you know?
That is
so it's
brilliant.
like, yeah, it's mad. And it's, you know, now it's a place where people go do graffiti and practice that kind of stuff and just take photos. And a lot of YouTubers have filmed around the area. But I love hearing about the history of these kind of places. So it's super cool that you guys include that.
Yeah, it's one of them because obviously, like we wouldn't know about like your history over there, like, and you might not always know about our history over here. So it's good to like show people from other parts of the world, just like what our history is like and like what we explore. And it's always interesting, like hearing little story like you just told us about the ranch. It's just always interesting to hear stories like that because that's what make it, you know, that's what make exploring worthwhile to us.
Absolutely. And what has social media done for you guys? Have you been able to like meet other explorers and do stuff with them? Like what has social media done for you?
Yeah,
we've met up with a few other explorers, haven't we? And it's kind of connected us all together.
Yeah,
I mean, especially all these like Facebook groups and all that. We've done a few explores with people from these Facebook groups, and it's really nice that there's a community out there to kind of like bring all these people together to go explore history together. It just makes it a bit more special. I think anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
And then do you guys have any like gear recommendations, like whether it be a pair of shoes or a backpack or even a camera you recommend, maybe a flashlight, you know, what kind of gear do you guys use when you go exploring, especially underground?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't recommend wearing your new Vans.
Yeah.
We've been caught out by that a few times. Definitely like really good boots, walking boots or
wellies sometimes.
Yeah. We just got a cheap
torch,
literally
our torch ain't even like really expensive, like these £100 ones. It's literally just like a £20 one off eBay, and it's literally so good, and it actually does aid us in the photography as well.
Very cool. And then what about your favorite history of a place? Do you have a place that has your favorite story?
Favorite story? That is a good question.
That is a very good question.
Favorite story?
Yours might be different to mine.
What's yours? Go on.
Well, mine would be the Tots TV house. And I say it like 10 times a day. But the Tots TV house is an abandoned film set in the middle of this place called Stratford-upon-Avon. And it's just completely abandoned in the middle of this field. You wouldn't know until you got into this forest that they used to film there. And it's this set, it's this house, and it's completely crumbling, unfortunately. I don't think it's got much longer left there. But the farmer does not like people going there. We've heard stories, but we were fine when we went there.
Yeah, we were, to be fair.
But it's just amazing that this like show I used to watch when I was little has turned into this like completely just falling apart house in the middle of a random forest somewhere. It's just absolutely crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. It was definitely one on the books.
Yeah,
and I was like, we need to go. And then we just went and it was just incredible.
And that's cool to like relive your childhood in that way.
Absolutely.
And this other passion that you have now. Like that's so cool. Wow.
It's like bringing the two together, isn't it? It's quite nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then what about scariest exploration you guys have been on? How about that? Tell me a scary story.
Scariest. Oh, that one in Wales has got to be that tunnel in Wales we went to.
Oh, which one was that?
Oh, I can't remember the name of it. Is that the scariest one we got? I think
I mean, exploring in general, or
yeah.
What about the one?
Yeah. So just,
Randontika.
Like, scary experience or like paranormal activity. I don't know if you guys believe in that stuff, but yeah, tell me about it.
We do Randontika, The app.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, we haven't talked about that on this podcast yet, but I do want to dive into it. So first, can you explain to people what it is? And then tell me a little bit about like some of the things you guys have discovered through it.
So Randonautica is just basically this app that pinpoints a certain location, a pin, based on your quantum entropy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like this Australian
Yeah, it's based on
university thing.
yeah. Basically, the
Yeah.
point is generated by the Australian National University, I
Yeah.
think, and
It's all based on like quantum
quantum
physics,
physics.
and
Yeah,
whatever like that. We don't really understand that much.
yeah,
But we just know you can get either a temporal
yeah.
point,
Yeah.
a void, or an attractor, and you just click one of them, and it will generate a random point for you. Could be anywhere up to 10,000 meters.
Yeah.
And it will say go here, basically.
Yeah.
And as long as it's not someone's house, you're usually all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people, there have been stories like I post on TikTok my urban exploration stuff, and there have been some crazy stories like these people found a suitcase next to a beach, and inside the suitcase there was like a dead body. Like people have found like some creepy things and been to some creepy places. So do you guys have like a scary story from doing Randonautica?
Yeah, so there was this one time actually, probably a good few months back, probably 2 months ago. So, and we were up this place called Broadway Hill and Snows Hill, and it is literally like in the middle of nowhere. It's just full of fields and full of like forests. And basically, we were randonauting this one point, and we didn't actually find nothing. As we were going back to the car, we noticed on a hill that was opposite, that there was like a weird light flashing. And anyway, we got back in the car. That was all. We both commented that it was weird, didn't we? We were both like, that was a bit weird, but we didn't really think much of it at the time. Anyway, the point next generated was that literally where that light was. So immediately we were a bit freaked out. Yeah, but we thought, we'll go with it anyway. We went to the point, parked up the car. It was like in a foresty area. It was definitely like textbook creepy. And started to walk towards this point, but there was no light to be seen anymore, which was a bit odd because you would have been able to see it. And we started hearing like footsteps coming out of the woods. And bearing in mind, this was literally like probably a good mile at least from any other house. It was literally like
It was
pitch black. It was just this random place. Anyway, it started coming towards us, and we just literally bolted it because we thought, wow, it's not worth hanging around to see what's going on.
No way.
Yeah,
oh my goodness, that's
it was
crazy.
a whole load of no.
Wow, that's nuts. And then have you guys ever experienced any paranormal activity in any of these places you've explored?
Yeah, well, it's weird because there was one tunnel in Wales. Now the name escapes me. It was near a place called Abergavenny though. And it was just a hill. It was actually a beautiful tunnel in the hillside. We went inside it. We looked around. We got about halfway in. I'd done some photographs with my DSLR camera, and then we went back and we went home. I reviewed the camera and I noticed that I reviewed the pictures and I noticed that a couple of the pictures, like half of the picture was missing, like half the exposure was missing.
Whoa.
I thought that's odd. Anyway, in one of the pictures, we actually saw there was somebody standing in one of the culverts. So that's basically like a little tunnel to let the trains go past when the workmen are working in the tunnel, as it would. And we spotted there was actually somebody standing in that culvert looking at us. And to this day, it's certainly one that stumps us. Just the fact that my camera's never played up. It's always, it's a Canon camera. It's really good. Never played up, and just this time, half of my picture was missing. Oof. And this figure was literally just standing in one of the culverts, and it was
That's terrifying. Oh my god.
I'll have to post
Wow.
that. That reminds me, I'll have to post that on our page and see what other people think.
Yeah, definitely. And throw that up on Facebook, on one of those Facebook groups. I love, the comments on those are always pretty skeptical, but I still love reading all the comments on there.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's good fun. But yeah, it was.
And then do you guys have any goal places you haven't been yet that you are like itching to go to?
Oh, so where abandoned places? Probably like North Wales, like more towards like North Wales. So we've discovered like Mid and South Wales, but we haven't done much of them up north.
Yeah.
More North Wales, it's literally like a bit more mountainous as well. So you usually find that there's quite a lot of like mining gone on there.
We definitely want to go towards like Cornwall as well, don't we? Because there's more like abandoned like military stuff down there and like pillboxes and that kind of thing. Probably a few castles down there as well, but that'll be if we get a bit bored. But yeah, we'd love to get into an asylum as well, but they're quite hard to find over here.
Yeah, there's not very many.
Yeah, we seem to have a lot of abandoned asylums out here in the U.S., especially on the East Coast. We even have some here in California. There's this place called Downey Insane Asylum, and it's super well known for being extremely haunted and creepy and spooky. And the cops guard it now, but I was lucky enough. A cop was like, "Yeah, you can go in, but if another cop stops you, I can't help you. Like, good luck." But yeah, we got in, and it was terrifying. Like we were in there for a couple hours, and then I kind of like went down one hallway as my friends went down another hallway, and then like I felt this feeling, and I call it the darkness. It's whenever like you guys have probably experienced it too, it's like the darkest kind of darkness you can imagine. Like it's not just black, it's like a void almost.
It's not a very nice one. You shouldn't be there, sort of thing.
Exactly. So I turned around and ran to my friends, and I was like, "We should leave right now."
Yeah, probably wise.
Yep. And then if you guys could live in one place you've explored for 1 week, which place would it be?
Oh, that is a good question. Magpie Mine has got to be.
Oh yeah, Magpie Mine.
So there's a abandoned lead mine in Derbyshire in a place called the Peak District, and it's called Magpie Mine, and basically it just overlooks the whole valley. It's absolutely stunning. Wow. And literally so picturesque, and there's actually a lovely little mine owner's cottage there still standing somehow. And
wow.
Yeah. It would be quite cool to live there.
Just move in now. Just go live there. It's fine.
Buy
the property, live in it. And then what's the farthest you guys have traveled to explore?
Scotland.
Scotland.
We have travelled 430 miles.
Yeah.
Wow.
We were going now on holiday, but obviously exploring came in with that.
Sort of tied.
But yeah, so it's basically from one part of the country to the other, and you actually end up. Scotland's another country, obviously, but we started off where we live, obviously, and then we went up there, and it was about 400 miles there, and then 400 miles back. So I think we covered about 1,000 miles.
Literally took us 10 hours.
Took 10 hours.
And what did you guys explore up in Scotland?
Oh, it was a old railway line, wasn't it?
Like viaducts. Tunnels.
Yeah.
It was just a few It wasn't. We were just trying to find, because we were just up there anyway. So we were just trying to find, just rolling around trying to find, seeing what we could see, sort of thing.
I mean, we explored the locks, didn't we? And we just a bit of everything, really. Yeah.
Cool. And then my last question for you guys is, what is something you know now about exploring that you wish you knew when you started?
Ooh.
That's a very good question, actually.
Thank you.
What do I know now that I didn't know?
Probably, again, don't wear your nice shoes.
Yeah.
True.
Or you can get into more places than you think you can without doing exploring. You can get into we've got into some extraordinary places just by taking our time, seeking out like different ways to get in,
Yeah.
and then
It's not a rush to get in there, is it? It's just about doing it.
And half the time, literally, half the time we go out and we don't actually find nothing. It's just literally have a little bit of a failed, but it's all part of the whole exploring thing, I think.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And if people want to see some more of your photographs, where can they find you guys?
Yeah, just go head on to Instagram, just go to abandoned and disused _UK, and you'll find us there. We have loads of like content. We're hopefully going to have loads more, hopefully try and post even more than what we really do. We post every couple of days, but hopefully we'll get that to every day eventually.
Yeah, eventually. Fingers crossed.
Awesome. Thank you guys for coming on No Tracers and sharing your stories with everybody. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Yeah, it's great. It's great to hang out and chat abandoned.
Yeah.
All right, so that was my episode with Abandoned and Disused out of the UK. Thank you both for coming on and sharing your stories with my audience. I think people are really going to enjoy this episode. I think it's super cool that these two explore a lot of railways. I think that is super unique, and I absolutely love that. If you guys enjoyed this podcast, please do me a favor and leave a rating and feedback. And if you do that, take a screenshot of your feedback and send it to me at no.tracers on Instagram, and I will actually send you a signed photo print from an abandoned place that I have explored. That's my way of giving back to you guys for helping this podcast grow. So again, thank you for leaving a rating and feedback. Thank you to Liquid Death Water for partnering with me on this podcast. Like I said at the beginning of the episode, if you guys want a discount on Liquid Death Water, use code JustTheLetterK at checkout and you will be good to go. All right, guys, I will talk to you again next Friday on the No Tracers podcast. If you want to be on No Tracers, if you have some stories you'd like to share, hit me up at contact@justtheletterk.com. My info will be down in the description for you guys. And I will talk to you again next week with another guest. Stay strong, keep enduring, go explore, and remember, leave no trace.